Hey y'all, good morning. Good morning. This morning we are going to be talking about how to know if you are on the right career path, right? I did not say if you have the right job, but if you are even on the right path. My name is Alicia and I help you to lead well. So like I was saying, if you guys are in a place in your career where you want to be sure that you are operating in alignment, and you also want to find yourself in a place like, okay, is it that I need a new job, or is it that I need a complete career change? Again, this is for you. Because I say this because, you can find yourself feeling a lot of different emotions in your career, but at the same time, you're really not sure like what those emotions mean or what those frustrations mean. And I think it's really important for you to know exactly what is the root of all of this. Like, why is it that you feel the way that you feel? And with a lot of the clients that I work with, once you start to really dig into those things, you'll start understanding and realizing, like, wait a minute, this is not the problem, but this is. And when you think about a career, right? And when you think about your job, those are like two different things, right? Your career and your job are two separate things. And I think that people tend to like lump them in as one big thing, but it's not, right? It definitely is something that, you need to know how to know the signs of which one. Because I have seen people who will throw away their whole career because they've had a bad experience with a job, right? And you don't understand that it was nothing wrong with the career choice that you made, but what it was who you actually worked for. And also, I don't think people understand the toll of being in the wrong environment, what that really does, like what that does to your overall mindset, how that can affect the skills that you have, and not also being able to understand that, when you think about your career, you really need to see that as, what is that long-term path, right? What is that path that you are on? And your job is just ways that you use your skill set on that path, right? So you can be in a really great career field, but if you're working for the wrong people, right? Or if you find yourself in environments to where they don't use your skills at the level that they should be, you'll start to feel like, I've made the wrong career choice. So the first thing that I want to lean into is really being able to unpack, what are you discontent? And let me say this, being discontent does not mean you hate your job, right? Being discontent does not mean that you do not like the people that you work with. That is not what that means, right? When I'm talking about being discontent, I'm talking about there's a level of fulfillment that you want that is not there. But it is a level of fulfillment that you want that you don't feel right now, right? And so when I talk about you being able to really unpack that, what I mean is getting clear on what is the root of that, right? And I think when people find themselves in environments to where they really enjoy the people that they work with, right? They feel like, okay, this job, it's okay. You can almost deceive yourself into thinking that that job is enough. But when you look at your goals that you set and you start to examine the way that you really want to be able to use your expertise, you'll start to see gaps in those level of fulfillment, right? And so the first thing I want to talk about is, if you are starting to feel that, is that level of not being fulfilled, is that level of, I feel like I can't operate at the level that I want to, is that about the environment that you are in? Because if the environment that you are in does not allow you to use your strengths, it does not allow you, right, to express ideas or even share feedback. If those environments do not allow you, right, to use your skills in a way that feels good, it may not even be that field. It could just be who you work for, and it could be that your environment allows you to feel stifled, right? And so when you look back at that, I want you guys to start thinking about, okay, how long have I felt this way? Because I really feel like when you start to really have doubts about something, or when you start to feel that level of something's off here. I had a client that I spoke with earlier this week, right? And she kept saying, I'm not learning the skills that I want to learn in this role. And so I was like, okay, well, so what are the skills that you feel like you can't learn? And she was like, I'm really not sure, but I feel like I'm not able to really learn the skills that I want. And I said, well, if you don't know the skills that you want to learn, right, how do you know that that those skills are not actually there? And so as we started to really dig in deep to that, right, we started to really unfold that it wasn't that she wanted to learn new skills. It was that she wanted to be able to bring forth more of a result with her skills. And sometimes you feel like in order to bring forth a great result, then that means that you just need new skills. And that's not true, right? Sometimes you have to change the way that those skills are being used. And that's going to help a lot of y'all out there who's always thinking that you got to take a new class and course, right? You got to be able to get clear on, right? What are the results that you want to bring forth with your skills, and start to look at, is it that I really need new skills in order to bring forth this result? Or is it that I need to change the way that my skills are used? And that's what with my client, I was able to show her. It's not that you want new skills. It's just that you want to be able to do something else with your skills. And so now it's having to sit down and think about, is the environment that I am in, right? Does this even allow me to use my skills in a way that feels good? So that's why I think it's important for you to be able to deep dive into what is the problem. Don't just focus on, right? Don't just focus on how you feel. You need to acknowledge how you feel, but don't just focus on how you feel. But get to the root of the problem of why is it that you feel this way? How long have you felt this way? And at what moments is that feeling that you feel really intense, right? And this is how you're able to be sure that when you are in the place to where you have to make a move, or you have to make a choice, now that choice comes out of a place of you being clear, and it allows you to have a really great strategy to move towards the things that you really want. Because a lot of people out here are just escaping how they feel, and they're not getting clear on what the problem is, right? But if you're not clear on what your problem is, you will find yourself going through the same thing over and over again. And that's when you start feeling like, I feel like there is no good jobs out there. And that's not the truth. The truth is you're not clear. And the truth is you want relief from that emotion and you don't want to fix it. But you got to be able to get clear on what is the problem here. Okay. And when you understand what the problem is, now you know, okay, this is the right way to go. Right. And now it's not about you always trying to escape something, but it's about you being able to move on from something. Because you being able to move on from something and you being able to escape something is two separate things. Right. Because anytime you in a mindset to where you feel like you want to escape, that is a completely different mindset. You'll find yourself feeling like, for one, you'll find yourself in this panic mode, right? And you're not able to really plan because why? You are panicking, right? So I want you guys to get clear on, okay, where is this feeling coming from? Because there are some work environments that it's just certain systems that are set up. Not saying that every system is wrong, because anytime you look at anything, there is a system in place, right? Like me, I own a business. There are certain systems that I have in place to make sure that I get the result that I want. Same thing with you. At your job, there are systems set up. Now, there are some systems that are just wrong, right? But also, there are systems that, hey, this is just the way things are, right? It is what it is. It is not your job to think that you can change all of this stuff, because the reality is that you can't. So start thinking about, okay, you know, I like the role itself, but the way that these systems are here, it does not allow me to operate in a way that's either feels good to you, that allows you to even receive the growth that you want to, right? Or even the pay. So when you start to think about that, it's going to help you to decide, is it that I am unhappy with my job, or is it that I am unaligned in my career? Two separate things. But most people tend to kind of like have them all bunched into one. All right, so that's the first point. The next point I want to talk about, right, is I want to talk about like values versus realities. Okay. Meaning like, what are your, I talk about this so much because I really believe this is like the number one reason why people either don't like their job, or they cannot find the fulfillment, or they cannot grow at the level or the pace, or be able to even operate in their full role as they want to, because there is a like the alignment between your values and the values that you and the values of who you work for isn't aligned. That is the number one reason. And I ask people all the time, I say, what are your values? 80% of people do not know. I've worked with a few people that know, but 80% of people do not know their values. And your values is what will align you in any area of life, at your job, in your career, with your family, with your friends. Values, right? And we all have values, right? But it's just that you don't know what they are. And when you don't know what they are, and you get to seasons in your life to where you don't feel as good as you think that you should, or you're not operating at the level you want to, is because what you are doing and the values that you have are not aligned. And when I say values, it just means, what are those things that you need to have in that environment, in that space, that is going to allow you to operate, to work, to serve in a way that brings you the fulfillment, right? That allows you to feel good in what you do, and that allows you to reap the result and the reward that you want to. What are those things that need to be in place, right? You think about values, think about, there are some people that they have to work in really environments that are very diverse, meaning that they don't want to work with people, right? Or they will prefer to work in environments where everybody don't look like them, because they really, really thrive off of being able to be around other people that may not have came from the same background as them. They thrive off of that. They thrive off of being able to see other sides of things, right? You got to know yours. You should have a good solid 3. What are your values, right? And so when you work for somebody that does not share the same values, or the job that you have does not serve the values that you have, you'll start feeling a gap there. And the thing that will cause people to be confused is because you'll find yourself still being able to bring forth good results, right? Though they are not great. I tell people all the time, I say, if you can do this well in something that you don't even care about, something that you don't even really enjoy all the way, think about the impact that you can make being able to operate in something that you enjoy, something that you believe in, something that you love, right? Think about that. So you can find yourself in a place to where you still do okay in your job. But what tends to happen a lot of times with people, they get into this robot mode. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. You get into this robot mode to where you can literally do your job sleeping. you don't even have to give any thought. And people think, oh, that's just because I know my job well. Okay, that could be a part of it. That you do know your job so well that you don't even have to give any, and that's not a good thing, because it'll let you know that those skills are not growing. So that's not a good thing, right? But there are some people who will literally just shut off their mind, because there is no relation, there is no engagement with the work that they do. Now, I do not believe that you have to be passionate about your work. I do not believe that. I don't. But I do believe that you and your work have to be able to share the same values. Because when you and your work, or who you work for shares the same values, my friend, you are getting ready right? To thrive. Because now it allows you to be able to think. A lot of people are so creative and they don't even know it. It's just that you have not been in the right environments that has allowed you to use your spark, right? Because you find yourself just on, I got to get the job done. I just got to get it done, and you're done. So you are shutting off those parts of you that is your unique value prop, right? That is what allows you to stand out from everybody else. You are now shutting these things off in your mind, right? Because it's all about just getting the job done, and it's not about you being able to enjoy your work. So yes, you do not have to be passionate about your work, but I do believe you do need to engage and connect, right? And enjoy what you do, because it affects how you show up. It affects your results. It affects your growth. It affects your pay, and it will affect your brand, right? Because again, you don't want to just coast through your work, because when you're just in this mode of coasting, what it does is it makes you feel like you are mediocre, right? You be like, yeah, I'm good, but and the reality is, my friend, you are awesome. The reality is that you can outdo and outwork everybody on your team, but because you have kind of tapped out some, right? It holds you back from being able to see the full potential that you have. And so this is why you kind of accept roles that you know that you should be getting paid way more for, because you don't know the value there. And it's not because there is something wrong with you, just because you have not allowed yourself to be in a place, right, to where you and your work share the same values that's going to unlock all of that. I need to be sure that you know your values. And again, as you get older, as life happens, as you advance in your skills, as your goals change, right? Those values are going to change. So you should be sitting down at least every year thinking about, okay, are the things that was once important to me, do those things still hold the same value as they did, right? Because you can find yourself in a place to where you didn't mind spending a little bit more time on work, right? But when you start getting married, having kids, or just life happens, or if you just want to explore the world more, you like, look, I'm going to show up and do good and do well, but I want my time for me, right? Because life happens and life changes. So if life happens and life changes, why is your mind about your career not changing? Because everything else around you is changing, right? Your standards have changed. Your expectations have changed, right? So this thing that we call your career, which does take a lot of your time, right? That has to change, because if not, that's how you start losing yourself. And this is how you start to make career moves based upon the needs of your job and not on the needs of yourself. Right? And this is why with my clients, or even the content that I put out, it is heavily, heavily on alignment, because that is where everything is that you want. Your pay, your growth, all of those great opportunities. That is when you lock into alignment. That is not because you on job boards scrolling around, and that's not because you are at work, sitting there doing all the things. No, it's about you being able to lock into what you really want and setting expectations that match where you are now. Okay. And so when you think about the role that you have now, when you think about the demands of your job, and you think about your values, think about, are these even in alignment with each other? Right? What this role needs from me. There are some people that, like, we all are sparked by different things. Meaning, right? For me, I love like results. and when I say results, meaning like I like to see a result in something. Like, it doesn't matter how much people are like, oh, this is good, this is great. I got to be able to see it for myself, right? So anything that I engage myself in, I got to be able to see that something has changed, that there has something new has been made. It have to be able to see a clear result. For some people, they are really, really moved by, they like to, what is it? Make something new, right? Or they kind of like to kind of streamline something, right? You got to be able to find, like, what is it that really drives you? There are some people that they want to make a certain amount of pay, and guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. You can say, Alicia, the thing that stirs me up, the things that will spark me is when I'm being paid a certain amount, meaning that they don't necessarily have to be in the environment that's just right. Again, there's no wrong or right thing. It's about you being able to know where you are in your career and what is it that you need that actually drives you. And so if the role that you are in has you stuck in, I don't know, managing whatever, right? But you know that you are really, like, you're at a point in your career that you really want to lead people. You're like, I'm at a point in my career where I want to be able to be people focused. But I just keep getting these tasks dropped on my desk that I don't even care about, right? But you're like, I'm at the point in my career where I'm ready to pour into people, but they got you stuck on projects. You like, no, I wanna be able to be hands-on with people, right? That's where you are now. That is a thing that drives you. But if that role isn't allowing you to operate in that level, it doesn't matter, again, how well you do, you won't feel that as success. For some people, when you have to operate in a role that you are not that aligned with, and you bring forth great results and you have great successes, for the other people, those things is seen as success. For you, it feels like a trap. Because you're like, wait a minute, I do well in this role. It feels like a trap. You'll start feeling like your skills and the great things that you do is a trap, because you're like, how is it I can go anywhere else when I'm doing so great? And I know I'm talking to somebody, right? Your results and your skills are now a trap, because you're like, how is it that I can move away from something that I'm really good in? But again, it's about, what's the goal? Like, what is it that you're wanting to move to? Because for certain people, and I'm one of them, right? I love operating in excellence. For me, good is not enough. I want to be great. And when I say great, not great so I can get the applause from other people around me. I want to be able to operate in my full potential, right? So even if I do something good, I'm like, okay, that's good. But I'm always looking for ways to see, okay, how am I able to take this thing from good to great? Because I like to be able to stretch myself. I love that, right? And so if you're one of those people and you find yourself being able to do well in a role, you're like, okay, that's good, right? But you're still looking for something else, and it doesn't matter how much task they throw at you, right? And for some people, it does not matter how much pay they throw at you. It still won't be enough. Because you're like, I know I was made for something more than just this. You're like, I know I'm made for something more. I know that I want to impact with my skills, right? But not in this way. Even though this way may have worked for a time. And that is what confuses people. They'll be like, hey, this was good at a time. Like, this worked for me. Like, what's wrong? What's the problem? Yeah, my friend, but it doesn't work anymore. Like, oh shit. I mean, I've had clothes in my closet. I'm like, girl, you need to get them clothes up. Okay? Like, you have put on a few pounds. You've told yourself, the weight is going to be lost. My friend, we are going on a year. You have not lost that weight. Give it away to somebody, right, who can actually use this. And I think in your career, it's kind of the same way. Like, you'll find yourself to where you have gained stuff. And when I say gain, you have gained new skills. You have gained new standards. You have gained new expectations. You have gained new goals. And my friend, that job is just too tight for you. It's like it's just too small because you've gained something, right? This is why I know that it does not feel good to be stretched, but people will want to feel comfortable and they think that that's a good thing all the time. And it's like, no, you feeling that level of, oh, I'm just coasting. I could just do my job with my eyes closed. I'm just like, you're just coasting. And that's not always a good thing because it's like, my friend, there is no growth that is happening, right? There are no new skills that are being made, right? The vision that you've had is still the same, right? And this is not to push you into this, you always have to get more and more, because I don't believe in this hustle, get either. But what I do believe in is that you have to be able to know how you are built. You have to be able to know what drives you. You have to be able to know, right? Who it is that you are, and not set your goals or your standards based upon the people around you, especially if the people around you are not doing the thing that you want to do. Because when you're around people that don't have the same goals as you, are right, or they are, or, and I don't mean this in a like the other people are just so low, but I mean, like, when you are in environments to where how you think about things is a little bit more further than the folks around you, you start feeling like, is my expectations too high? Am I asking for too much? You start thinking like, wait a minute, right? But no, you're not. It's just that, the environments that you have been in has not allowed you, right? Or they don't necessarily allow you a space to feel like, oh, so this is how things could actually be, right? I remember when I started, y'all, my business. Like, I don't want to say how much I charged. I charged, y'all, low, right? Low. But that was like, what I did was I just kind of pulled this amount out of the sky. I never owned a business. I didn't know. But I started to be around people that owned a business. And they started to show me the value of my skills. And they started to show me the value of the problems that I solve. Right? So when I exposed myself to people that were past me, right, it opened and unlocked a world of opportunities that I did not know was even there. And that's how it is with you. When you start to see people, right, and surround yourself with people that are beyond where you are, you'll start saying, wait a minute, I am underpaid by a lot, right? Because again, when you do something well, to you, it's not valuable. When you do something easily, it doesn't feel valuable. But that's because we have to almost retrain our mind and stop feeling like everything got to be hard in order for it to be viewed as a success. I'm going to say it again. We have to be able to not feel like, in order for something to be seen as success, that it has to be hard. Right? And this is why when you have those great skills and you bring forth good results, and sometimes they can just come forth, and it's not as much as a struggle for you as other people. You'll start feeling like, okay. But you don't realize when you're talking about your skills solve a problem. And you don't base your value on how easy it is for you to solve that problem. You base the value of your skills on what is the problem that this solves for them, and what part of their success, right, like, is this in. That's how you base the value of your skills, right? Is when I look at their overall success. If this problem was not solved, what would this cost them? It does not matter how easy it is for you to do. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. What is this, like, how valuable is this to them, not me? And people will base the value of their skills on how valuable it is for you. And you got to think about, how valuable is this for them? That's why I can't stand when I hear y'all saying, oh, all I do is, or I just do. Baby, take that word just out. Because there is no I just. What you mean just? These people went and put a whole job ad up, right? These people have hired people to find people like you for this job. These people have went through hundreds of applications, right? And they picked you. So it was important enough for them to create a whole job around it because they understood that if we don't have this part, right, we can't get the success and the results that we want. So I want y'all to stop saying just because there is no I just, right? And a lot of the clients that I deal with, they have been in their career for a while, right? They are seasoned and they still say that. Right? I found myself having to work with VPs that's like, oh yeah, what you mean you just? Because you don't know when you devalue your skills and you talk about your results in that way, you train everybody else around you to do the same thing. And then you wonder like, why is it that I can't make the pay that I want? Well, what are you putting out there? Right? It's like you have to be able to respect your skills and you have to be able to value your skills enough for other people to, because they will only see your value in your skills at the level that you do. Right? So I want you to start thinking about, again, we're still talking about if you're on the right path. Start to even think about if the values that you have in the role that you're in, right? If they are even in alignment, right? Another thing I want to talk about is that expectation trap. And guys, I also want to say this too. I do have a free quiz for you guys that can help you to get a really clear idea on what is your career health right now. Okay, what is the true status of? If you guys want to, you can go to I am Alicia Perkins.com/quiz. Okay. And I believe on all of my sites, if you go in the link on my page, it's in there as well, because it's really going to show you your strengths and your gaps, which you really should know. Okay. But I want to talk about this expectation trap. Okay. You know, so much I can say about this. I think it's really important to be sure, like, what are the expectations that you have? But I also think it's important for you to know, where did you get these expectations from? Right? I had a client I talked to earlier this week, and she kept saying, like, man, like, but I just said, oh, all I do at work is just X, Y, and Z. And I was like, and she felt like, what she did, it just wasn't a lot. It's one thing to say, I want to change the results that I bring forth with my skills. It's another thing to feel like the results that you do don't mean nothing. That's two separate things, right? Because you are able to decide in your career that you are ready for more without having to make what you've done or what you do small. I'm gonna say it again. You are able to want more in your career without you having to make what you do or what you've done small. Don't do that. Right? But she was talking about the task that she does in her role. And she, the tone that she was using was like, but all I do is this. And like, because she really want to do more. I think that's great, because that just shows that it's just time for growth. Right? And so, I was talking to her about how it's so important to, like, really be able to own your wins, even when you think they're small. Because if you don't own your small wins, right, and if you only think about those big things, you'll forever feel like I haven't done enough. And you will forever feel like you're always starting over on something because you don't have anything to build on. You should be building on your small wins. When I say small, meaning like, even if they don't make the result that you think that they should, it's still a win, right? You still brought something forth, right? Something still happened. Something still took place. You still had to do something to bring that forth. That's still a win, right? And you don't want to you don't want to make it seem like it's small, because what you think is small, people out there are struggling to do. Like what you think means nothing. People are out there wanting to learn how to do it. Right. And so I think it's important to get to a place in your career where you are at a place to where you're like, you know what? I've had some wins. Acknowledge it. I've had some successes. I've had some results. Now I want to change what they look like, but do not make yourself feel like you have not had any. Right. So sharing stuff with her about that. And so I said, you know what? I started to share with her about when it's hard for you to be able to own a win, a small win, or even see things as a win at all. And I said, a lot of times that comes from how we were raised, right? If you are one that was raised with high expectations, meaning like, you better not bring home no B. You know, it was like, oh, it's only A's in this house, okay? Or you were one that like you kind of had to do like everything. I see this in people who maybe like they had to like help raise everybody and they never really had the experience to really maybe enjoy the things that they did because they always had to kind of just they really had to grow up faster than most because of just how life was with them. It's really hard for them to be able to really own small wins because for them, it's always going to be about the big picture, right? It's always about, no, but this is what I want, or this is what I need, or this is the goal. And so you're only thinking big picture. And when you do that, you don't think about all the other great things that you've done that may not look like that one thing, right? And what happens when you do that? Again, you miss out on opportunities to really leverage those things in your career, right? Because that's what you should be doing as you grow. Not thinking that you got to go get this new thing, new course, new skill. You need to be learning how to leverage what you've already done and learning how to realign that, right? Because if that's the case, you're not building anything. You're just starting from scratch every time. And so I started to share with her, like, I used to be like that. When you have this high expectations, or when you grew around, or when you were raised with other people around you and you was always being compared to other people around you, that will make it hard too. Because now it's not about what I think is good or what I feel like is right. It's about, no, I have to be able to outshine everybody else around me. And it's not about what you want anymore. It's just about you always having to be the best. Now, I did not plan to go this deep on this live stream this morning. I did not. But I got to talk about these because it's so real. Like, you don't realize all of this stuff, it connects to who you are as a person. So I'm talking to my client. I'm like sharing with her what I've been through and how I had to work through that. And she was just looking at me with her mouth open. Like, she was like, girl, that's it. She said, that is it. And she started sharing with me about how she was raised and, just the high expectation and how, in her family, how they was always taught to just be the best, the best, the best, the best, the best, the best, right? And I do think, when you have a mindset to excel or thrive at something, I think that's a great thing. But I think it becomes really dangerous when you want to base that upon what you see around you. I do believe me in being able to operate a level of like, I want to be great, but that expectation of great or that standard of great is set by me. I don't care what nobody else is doing around me. It is going to be set by me, right? But when you have not been trained or taught how to think for yourself or how to know what is success for you, you're going to find yourself, my friend, on that hamster wheel, spinning, 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 because it's not about, right? It's not about what you think is right. It's about, no, I have to be able to beat everybody else around me, or at least I have to be able to come to what everybody else around me is. And this comes from, and I'm not no therapist, right? I'm not no therapist, but let me tell you something. I know the Lord, and when you pray, the Lord will show you things, okay? And so that's what I had to do. I had to get to a point to where I'm like, look, okay, What do you want? Right? How will you know that you've reached that level of success? What needs to be in place? What is it that I will see? What is it that I will feel? And I do know that that standard of success, it can change for me, meaning that I could reach it and be like, man, I thought this was the bar, but it's still kind of low for me. Good. I can have it moved up if I want to. But I've also opened myself up in my mind to realize that on my journey towards this big goal, that if I reach a place before that big goal and I feel everything that I said that I wanted to feel at that big level, I can stop. Right? Because I've set that mark. And so when you say that I want to be successful in my career, what does that mean? I had a client that I work with, and working with my clients is something I help them to see, what is your level of success? Like, what does it look like? I want you to be so crystal clear on it. Again, you can change your mind, but what is it right now for you? And as most people do, she was giving me like these very vague stuff, like, yeah, if I can make 100 and whatever, a year, or I was like, okay. I say, but no, let's get really like into it, like let's like really dig into it. Like, what would it look like, feel like, smell like, taste like, right? And so she kind of sat there for a minute. She said, if I had enough time to plant my own food, right, I would know that that is when I reach that. Because for her right now, well, at that time, her workload was heavy. She had no time for herself, absolutely none, right? And then she was not at the level of pay, because we know that when you have to plant and garden, because I'm in the middle of that. Okay, not me, my husband, because I'm just not a outside girl. That I'm going to be honest. I'm like, no, I like a spa. I like going on trips. I like a nice hotel. But just being outdoor, that's just not me. So with my husband, he is in the middle of doing it. And it's not cheap, y'all. And it takes a lot of time too. So with her saying that if I was able to plant my own food and really eat the way that I want to, that would allow me to know that I have reached that. Because one of the things or her values was health. Because in her career at that time, she was not in a place to where she had the time or the money to take care of her body the way that she really, it was a real desire for her. That's what I mean when I say getting crystal clear on what success is for you. That's what I mean when you have clear pinpoints. She said, girl, if I could do that, if I can plant, grow, and raise all of my food, meaning I had the time and the money and the backyard space, that's how I will know, right? So for success, and this is why I say I'm not trying to push have a humongous house and go buy a jet success. No, but if that's what you want to do, cool. But what I'm saying is success for everybody is going to look different. And so if you don't know what that looks like for you, how will you know when you've made it? And this is what happens when you see people that have a really good job, right? You have everything in place to be successful. Like, what's the problem? It's because that's not the version of success that they really want. They just don't know that. They don't know why is it that I'm not happy with this. Because the world, your people, your family says success was having a humongous house and having a husband or wife. Okay, they told you that was success. But for you, success would be if I could just take me a good trip every 2 or 3 months. That is what success means, because that means I have more control over my time, and that means I have the resources to travel when I want. That is a clear measurement of success. So, because even when I hear people say, oh, a house, or but what does that mean for you? Right? There are some people that they say, if I can have a really big house, that would be successful for me. Why? You start to look really dig into it. It's because they have a really big family. It's because they want to eventually move in their mom and dad, and getting clear on what the success is. Like I was saying, how does it feel? How does it taste? How does it smell? You know? And this is an activity that I walk through with my clients. And now, for one, they are so clear on their path. They are so clear on what they are wanting to pursue and why. It's why you guys hear a whole lot of times, get clear on your why, get clear on your why. It's not cliche. It is the truth. Get clear on why you're doing what you're doing, because once you're on this path, my friend, it's going to be some hard times, okay? I am not the coach who's going to be like, oh, yes, no. There will be some things that you may struggle with at times. Some hard times. There may be some doors that's closed in your face, but when you know your why, my friend, you can push through it like me. You guys know that I was in HR for over 10 years, started my own business, right? Never in my whole life, y'all, I was like, no, give me my check every 2 weeks. I want to know exactly how much I'm getting paid. Nobody in my family owns a business. Never in my world, right? I started off with let's start a side hustle. You know, my life is really busy. It's just busy. Pastor's wife, like even my husband, he's really involved in church. And at that time, he was working full time. If anybody know, being a pastor and having a full-time job, my friend, it is not easy, right? So I wanted to be able to, like, man, I really want to be able to have like a side hustle, you know, so my husband, I can really support him and allow him to go into this thing full time. That was my why. But the side hustle turned into something amazing. Glory be to God. Right. So even now when I'm owning my own business, right? And I have reached a level of success. Like, is that success the end goal that I have now? No, but I have reached a level of success. So even in those moments in my business when things get really, really hard, I lean back on my why. Alicia, this is why. Right? Because I know what this is for. People are operating in their careers every single day for months, years, right? You don't know what you're doing it for. You can say, well, yeah, because I have to pay bills. Cool. If you are one of those people that you just want to work so you can pay bills, no judgment. But if you follow me, you don't believe in that, because that's just not what I believe. I believe that your career is a means for you to live the life that you want. Meaning that it should give you what you need to live the life that you want, not just to pay bills. Now, again, this is how I think, right? So for me and the people that align with me, that's how they think too. They're like, no, like they love to be able to use their skills to serve other people. They love to be able to lead and to grow and to make a great impact with their skills. For them, it's more than just a job, right? Their job isn't everything, but it's more than just a job, because you got to devote so much time. How can something that you work 40, 50, 60 hours a week be just a job? How did the word just fall into the sentence? What you mean just? Something that I give 70% of my life to is just? No, ain't no just. This is something that I have to devote energy, time. This is something that takes me away from my friends and my family. This is something away that I gotta a lot of times invest my skills into and invest money into. And it's a just? Oh no. But there are people that feel like that. Cool, no judgment. But I don't feel like that. I feel like it's almost a necessity that you enjoy your work. Again, you don't have to be passionate about it, but it's something about you should enjoy, because you devote so much time to it. And when you devote so much energy, time, resources to something that you don't enjoy, that takes a toll up here. That takes a toll on how you see yourself, how you operate. It takes a toll on how you live your life, how you treat your kids, how you treat your spouse, how you treat your family. It takes a toll on all of that. So don't tell me it's just a job. Get out of here with that. I ain't got time for it. Don't tell me that. Okay? Because it's just more than that, you know? And again, you don't have to have big old dreams of, oh, one day, you know, I desire to operate in C-suite. Okay. It's not about, again, the reason why we even think a goal is big or small is based upon the expectations of other people. We have allowed other people to set the standard of what is a big goal or a small goal. We've done that. For you to say, Alicia, if I could just get to a job that allows X, Y, and Z, or a job that because again, it's not always about having a lot of money. Though I think you should be concerned about being paid correctly, okay? Because everything is going up, okay? Everything is going up. So do not tell me that spiel of, having money ain't everything. It ain't everything, but it's something. And a lot of the problems that people face is because they don't have enough of it. So don't tell me it is not a big deal, because it is. But for some people, when you think about the life that you want, you should be able to know, right? How much money do you need to support that? And then once you get clear on that, you're going to start saying, wait a minute, all these little 2-3% raises that I'm getting every other year ain't cutting it. So again, being able to get clear on what is that level of success for you? How clear on that, right? Like, do you even give yourself time to even think about it? Like, when was the last time you even thought about you, your expectations, your wants, where you are now, right? Is there anything that you are holding on to, right? Is there any growth gaps that maybe you have not addressed, right? I think it's so important to get clear. Everybody want to get something new. Get clear, okay? And this really goes into my last point. Because the first point that I talked about was you being able to unpack why are you discontent. I talked about you and your values and the reality of your job, meaning does the scope of your job match the values that you have? And then I talked about you being in that expectation trap, right? You operate your career and life based upon what you think is right? And then this last point I want to talk about is you being able to have a clear vision of your future. I know sometimes when you hear the question, like, where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years? For a lot of people, they get overwhelmed. Like, girl, I don't know. People like, I don't even know what next week is going to look like. I don't even know, right? And I think that the level of anxiety comes from, one, you don't understand that you can change your mind. Because we think, okay, once I say this, then that's it. No, my love, my friend, you can change your mind, right? That's where that, oh my God, you start feeling anxiety. Like, girl, I just asked you what do you think is going to happen in the next 5 or 10 years? You like, I don't know. Calm down. It's okay. But like I said, I think that anxiety does come from you don't realize you can change your mind anytime you want to. And this is why people get stuck in these jobs, because you be like, wait a minute, I done told everybody that this was a job for me. I done told everybody that I prayed about this job and the Lord showed me. You be like, but I'm realizing that this ain't the job, right? And so you keep feeling like you have to be stuck in a choice that you've made. But it's like, no, you can change your mind anytime you want to. Anytime. So what you say is a 5-year goal right now, in another 6 months, if you realize, you know what, this really doesn't serve me the way that I thought it should, or this doesn't feel like how I thought it was going to feel, my friend, you can change your mind again. But I do think you need to have a clear vision of what's next for you. I think that's so important. And it doesn't have to be like a outline structure point by point, but just what does the overall look like for you? And so when you get to your point in your career, right, when you maybe not sure of what's next for you, think about, what do you want your life to look like? Because if you can get clear on what you want your life to look like, that can automatically remove a lot of options out of your mind for what should be your next move. So I want you guys to start to get clear on what is the vision for your future. Like, I was talking to one of my clients and I asked him, I was like, what does that future you look like? And he couldn't answer it, right? Because it's just that he didn't know. So it's like if you don't know what you want to move to, again, like I said, how are you going to know when you reach it? Right? So I was like, okay, so what does he look like? Like how is it that he thinks? Like what are the things he likes, he don't like, right? And so I think it's a great way to allow you to work towards something. It allows you to set, again, small goals and long-term goals, but it keeps you accountable to something. You need to be accountable to something, right? You need something to like bring you back on track. Like, girl, no, that ain't the way we going. You need that because if you don't set your goals for you, somebody else is going to set your goals. I'm gonna say it again. If you don't set your goals, somebody is going to set your goals for you because that's just the way life is. Because we look, everything is operated by something. If you don't have expectations for the role that you are in, that company is going to set those expectations for you. If you don't have goals for your career, if there is no growth plan for your job or your career, who you work for is going to set those for you. And why is that scary? I'm so glad you asked. That is scary because when they set your goals, it's not set based upon what is best for you. It is set upon what is best for them. And that is how you get the short end of the stick every time. Why? Because it's business, right? It's business, nothing personal against you. They are in the business for them. They are in the business to make sure that everything is in place, that they are successful and they hit their goals. You need to be in the business for you. I love y'all. I like to hang out with y'all. Y'all cool. We laugh and we chit chat. But at the end of the day, I got to be setting myself up for success because at any moment you can decide, okay, I'm not what you want. And that's cool. Ain't nothing personal. And if you decide that, I'm not even heartbroken. Why? Because I've already been setting myself up for success. If this opportunity don't work out, I know exactly what I would do next because why? I'm not thinking about just your success. I'm thinking about mine. And that's not selfish. That's strategic. That's career strategy. That is you having a plan. What is not having a plan is you sitting down at work, overworking yourself and just hoping that they see your value. Silence is not a career strategy. No. What is not a plan is you working and working and working and working and working. Don't ask for a raise, don't ask for nothing. That is not career strategy. I'm going to say it again. Silence is not a career strategy. Overworking yourself is not a career strategy. You not setting boundaries is not a career strategy. That is a one-way road to burnout. That is a one-way road towards bitterness because you start feeling like I've done all this and I don't have anything to really show for it. But the reality is that you really haven't asked for nothing. The reality is that you had no expectation of these things. So if there's no expectation of these things, how do you expect to get any of these things? It's almost like, me and my husband have been married almost 10 years. In March, it'll be 10 years. And we've always said we cannot get upset with the other person if you've never said that thing or whatever was wrong. Like what we will not do is the you should have known game. We ain't doing that. Why? Because we are mature. We know how to have conversations, right? But what happens a lot of time with people in their career, they'll start to feel a certain way about their job and you upset and mad, but you ain't had no conversation. You have not expressed what you need or your expectation. You have not done any of that. And now you're upset. Right? So if you have expectations, don't be afraid to set those expectations right? Don't be afraid to have the conversations with who you need to have those conversations with. Why? Because you are worth it. And I know how it is in a workplace, y'all. I get it. I was in corporate, not just corporate, working in HR for 10 years. Trust me, I get it. But having a conversation sometimes it don't always feel the best. But you gotta understand and know this: you are worth hard conversations. You are worth those awkward, tense moments that may happen when you have to have these conversations. You are worth them, right? And so when you start to lean more towards that, having hard conversations, my friend, you're like, hey, it don't always feel the best, but it's what I have to do. Why? Because I'm worth it. You are worth the hard work. You are. But like I said, I do have this assessment that you guys can go take. This assessment is going to show you your gaps and your strengths. And it's going to show you how to fill in those gaps. So go ahead and take that assessment. Take like 3 minutes, okay? So I want to talk about I ain't got time. You spent 8-9 hours on that job, okay? Go take this assessment in 3 minutes because it's going to show you your gaps and your strengths, and it's also going to show you how to be able to fill in those gaps. Also, if you guys want to get more tips from me and things of that sort, go ahead and subscribe to the shift on that, guys. This is a way also to really stay in touch with any like updates that I have and any like new things that I have going on. So if you want to, you can go to career T, that's careertea.me, and go ahead and subscribe as well to stay in the know. Also, if you want to work with me one-to-one, let's chat. Okay, if you are in a place in your career where you are really ready to define what's next for you, but not what's next for you, but really define your way that it's going to align with the life that you want. That's my biggest thing. Let's design your career in a way that's going to align with the lifestyle that you want. Another thing that I help with my clients is helping them to get clear on the skills, right? A lot of people just go and pick random skills out the sky, right? But it's not about that. It's about strategy. It's about you being able to be clear, you being able to be strategic. So if you want to work with me one-to-one, let's have a call so we can decide if we are a good fit for each other. That link is also in my bio as well. So if you guys have any questions or if you guys want to chat to work with me one-to-one, let's talk, and you guys have a great day. Bye, y'all.